The next paper presentation of Osmicon 2014 sponsored by NECC and Saffola Oats is by Sanya Jivani. The topic is Incidence and Prediction of Contrast-Induced Nephropathy.
Good afternoon, everyone. My paper is Incidence and Prediction of Contrast-Induced Nephropathy. The use of contrast media is required in many applications of modern diagnostic imaging. However, their use is known to have complications, one of which is the deterioration of renal function. Contrast-induced nephropathy is defined as the impairment of renal function and is measured either as a 25% increase in serum creatinine from baseline or a 0.5 mg per deciliter increase in absolute value within 2 to 3 days of IV contrast administration. Contrast-induced nephropathy is the third leading cause of hospital-acquired acute renal failure. It has been associated with increased morbidity, extended length of hospital stay, and increased costs. The impairment of renal function is permanent in some cases, with the risk of progression towards chronic renal failure. CIN by itself may even be an independent mortality risk factor. The reported incidence of CIN might be an underestimation since most patients do not remain hospitalized for long enough. CIN suffers from a lack of consensus, making it difficult to compare studies, especially in terms of the efficacy of various treatment modalities. The objective of the study was to know the incidence of CIN, to find the risk factors for the development of CIN, and to develop a simple risk score for prediction of CIN in patients undergoing diagnostic cardiac catheterization and PCI. Materials and methods: study design, prospective, non-interventional; type of study, observational, open cohort; setting, Department of Cardiology, Krishna Institute of Medical Sciences; sample size 304 patients; inclusion criteria, all consecutive patients undergoing diagnostic cardiac catheterization and or PCI, staying in the hospital for at least 2 days or willing to revisit the hospital on the third day were included in the study. Exclusion criteria: patients with pre-existing end-stage renal disease requiring dialysis, patients with history of exposure to contrast media within 1 week of index procedure, and patients in shock. Materials: patient information form in English, Hindi, Telugu, and Urdu languages; informed consent form in the same languages; pro forma for data collection; lab materials for sample collection; and SPSS version 17. Approval was obtained from the Institute's scientific and ethics committees before starting the project. Each patient was provided a patient information form in their language of choice and asked to sign on a consent form after satisfactory explanation. Blood and urine samples were collected from all the patients before the index procedure. Another blood sample was taken 2 days after the procedure, either on inpatient or outpatient basis. The remaining investigations were done as a routine by the hospital, and the reports were obtained from the hospital records. All the patients underwent thorough history taking and clinical examination. The samples were analyzed in the laboratories of KIMS Hospital. BMI, creatinine clearance, and EGFR were calculated using the respective formulae. Prior to the index procedure, the hydration and amount of hydration given to the patient was at the discretion of the cardiologist. One of the following contrast media was used for the procedure at the discretion of the cardiologist: ionic, non-ionic, or isoosmolar. All the data and the investigations were tabulated in Microsoft Excel. SPSS version 17 was used to analyze the data. The patients were divided into 2 groups: patients who got CIN and patients who did not get CIN. And 51 factors were compared for their correlation for development of CIN. Initially, chi-square test and student t-test were done. Then variables with p-values less than 0.05 were analyzed for their correlation with CIN using Pearson's and Spearman correlations. Observations and results: out of the 304 patients, 80 subjects developed CIN, which was an incidence of 26.31%. The patients were divided into 2 groups, CIN and non-CIN groups. These are the student t-test results: diastolic BP, CRP, HDL, VLDL, triglycerides, fasting blood sugar, creatinine, EGFR, and creatinine clearance had p-values of less than 0.05. These are the chi-square test results: gender, ECG, hypertrophy and arrhythmia, echo, valve abnormality, and pulmonary hypertension had p-values of less than 0.05. This shows the comparison of diastolic blood pressure, which was significantly lower in CIN patients. The CRP was significantly higher in CIN patients. Surprisingly, the average lipid levels were lower in CIN patients than in non-CIN patients. Fasting blood sugar was significantly higher in patients with CIN. Again, surprisingly, the baseline serum creatinine, the average eGFR and average creatinine clearance were better in CIN patients. More number of females, a bigger percentage of females developed CIN compared to males. Hypertrophy and arrhythmias were also significantly associated with CIN. Valve abnormalities and pulmonary hypertension also were associated. However, none of the variables in the model showed strong or significant correlation with CIN. Failure of variables to show significance might have been due to the small sample size. Discussion. The incidence of CIN was compared in diagnostic and interventional catheterization. Incidence was found to be more in people undergoing coronary interventions compared to diagnostic catheterization. Pre-existing renal dysfunction is thought to be a risk factor for CIN, but there was a high incidence of CIN in the study even in patients with normal renal function. This might have an important practical implication in the prevention of CIN. The incidence of CIN was compared in different types in patients receiving different types of contrast media. The number of patients in whom isoosmolar contrast was used was very small to come to a definite conclusion, but there seemed to be a decreased incidence in people given isoosmolar contrast. In this study, there was found to be a trend towards increase in incidence of CIN with an increase in volume of contrast used. Suggestions: minimizing the amount of contrast used in each patient, aggressive hydration therapy in all patients, including those with normal baseline renal function, avoiding repeat procedures at short intervals as far as possible. Limitations of the study: it had a small sample size with all the patients admitted to a single center. Serum creatinine as a marker of renal function has its limitations. The pre-procedure measures to prevent CIN were not uniform in all the patients. Different types of contrast media used in different patients might have affected the results of the study. The post-procedure serum creatinine was measured on the third day, so patients who might have developed CIN after this period would have been missed, leading to underestimation of the incidence of CIN. Thank you.
What is the duration between the onset of the disease and the administration of the contrast?
Usually it starts the serum creatinine levels start rising by 48 hours and they reach a peak in 3 to 5 days.
What is the precaution before you administer the contrast?
The most commonly used precaution is hydration therapy, normal saline given. In high-risk patients, they're using N-acetylcysteine, which is an antioxidant. There are many other hypotheses for prevention of CIN, but none of them are being practically used. Yes, sir. I didn't get you, sir. Sorry.
No, the question was that contrast is given even for procedures like a contrast CT. So why didn't you include such a group?
I'm actually interested in cardiology, so I thought of this.
Well, this is you're looking at CI, not cardiology.
Yeah, but actually, yes.
A better answer would be that such patients are not admitted and they don't come back for a third day. If you do a serum creatinine on day 3. Whereas your group of patients are those who were admitted for a procedure and were available for doing a creatinine estimation after the procedure. Do you agree with me what I'm saying or no? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Okay, it's okay. Forget it. Then the other thing is good study, but I think you should highlight the fact that the dose of contrast is important issue in deciding the occurrence of CIN.
But there was no significant difference in the volume of contrast used, sir.
You said there's a 10-fold difference.
There was a trend towards increasing CIN with increasing contrast, but it wasn't statistically significant.
So what was the final message that you want to say? What are the factors that did cause CIN in your study?
I found factors
without going through the slides, I just want you to tell us what is the final take-home message.
Yes, sir. there were factors which were significantly different between CIN and non-CIN patients, but none of them there was no correlation between
So
them.
what is the take-home message?
So there has to be a study conducted with a larger sample size.
So you
and-
mean this study
which
did
is
not show
really
anything,
important
we need a
because there's
bigger
such a
study.
high incidence of CIN. So.
You mean to say that this study did not show anything? We need a bigger study.
No, it showed a very high incidence of CIN, sir, 26.31%, which cannot be ignored.
I want to tell what is the take-home message.
Yes, so the
Just
incidence
summarize in
of
two sentences and tell me what is.
the incidence of contrast-induced nephropathy was very high, and it also occurred in people with normal baseline function. So we cannot give preventive measures only for people who have history of renal disease. Thank you.
Any questions from the audience?
We conclude the paper sessions of OSMOCON 2014, Day 2, Session 1, sponsored by NECC and Saffola Oats. The winner of this session will be announced shortly, so all of you please stay here. And there's a fun event called Medical Dumb Charades, which starts at sharp 2 o'clock in this lecture hall, Community Medicine Lecture Hall. I request all of you to form a team